What is going on, guys? It is the early morning down here in Southwest Florida, and you guys know what that means is update time. And finally, we have the Guilty Gear collab update and so much information to go over. So I'm going to go over the update content stuff first, and then obviously I'm not going to go into in detail on the heroes because those should be separate videos for me to review them. And then we're going to go over the other things that Stove did add. There's like 7 different things on their website between packs and different events going on and things like that. So, and I'll probably make a separate reward-only video that talks about the Facebook login or Facebook share reward and the login rewards and all that stuff. So anyway, let's go into the update though. So you guys see here we have Soul Badguy first. And unfortunately he was the free-to-play hero, so he did end up being the free-to-play hero. But he actually isn't too terrible. He's going to be a kind of a mixture of semi-useful in PvP, but definitely a PvE style hero. So he is a Fire Warrior Sagittarius. He does have 2 active abilities and 1 passive ability. And then his devotion is going to have 2 people for defense percent. So hoping that percent is very, very large since he only unlocks 2 abilities. The only issue with him, we're going to go into his ability here. So first of all, and I'll go over to more of his devotion ability of why it's a little awkward, but his first ability is attacks with a fire pillar, damage dealt increases if the enemy is buffed, gains fighting spirit when a critical hit is made. So very, very similar to Fire Ken when he has 100 fighting spirit, his ability will proc on his passive. So, now his passive, which I believe is honestly the most interesting part of his kit, he counterattacks and silences for 2 turns when an enemy uses a non-attack skill, or when the caster is attacked by an elite or boss monster. So, and the damage dealt is proportional to the enemy's max health, so the higher health the enemy has, the more damage he deals. So he kind of has like almost like a pseudo built-in Joker or almost like a Bologna ability. So very, very awesome for PvE. But so keep that in mind. He is going to, so for PvP, without going too much in detail, obviously he's going to be very useful for those CR pushers that don't attack like outside of Shadow Rose. So, you know, Judas, Rusids, things like that. He basically could potentially one-shot them after they use their CR push. Now, as far as for PvE goes, honestly, it's kind of like cut and dry. The only downside, because he's going to obviously counterattack every time the elites and the bosses attack. And the only thing that depowered him a little bit is he only gets it once every 2 turns. Now, I'm assuming how it's going to work is that, you know, that counts also on the enemy's turns. So, like, for instance, the queen AoEs you, and then if the queen were to single target him again, then he would have his ability up for the second attack if he already used the first. So hopefully it's not every 2 turns that you take. Hopefully it's just every 2 turns in general from how it's worded. And then also the other part of his ability is Roman Cancel. If Fighting Spirit is 100 at the end of an ally's turn, the caster consumes all Fighting Fury before extending the duration of a buff and is granted an extra turn. So I don't think he actually buffs himself with this like Vigor does. I think like if he, like, for instance, has a buff, like an attack buff or a defense buff or a crit rate up or whatever it may be, then he would get that extended and get an extra turn. So he would maintain those buffs, and then he would get an extra turn to go into his S1 or S3 after that. So pretty interesting, though. Definitely this is the most interesting part of his kit. And then after Awakening, he has a strip of all buffs on an enemy, and then makes them unable to be buffed for 2 turns, and then once again, damage dealt increases proportional to the enemy's max health. So once again, more of a boss killer ability here. We'll have to see what his multipliers are to see how good his skill 1 and skill 2 are, or skill 1 and skill 3 rather are. But overall, I'm very, very, you know, definitely a very, very interesting character. The fact that he's free to play means you can obviously max his devotion. You can get the 5-star fodder for him. You know, if you guys want to wait and not 6-star him right away, which I would recommend doing just to conserve your resources, I would just wait till we can get all copies of him. As I'll show you guys later when we go into the side story, you can actually only get, I think, 2 copies of him right now. But I'm content with Soul. Like, I want him to be a banner character because obviously he probably would have been a little better with his kit, then maybe they wouldn't have had the restriction on his counterattack. But, you know, for free-to-play, I'm very content with him. So Baiken is going to be a Earth Thief Scorpio, and she's going to have attack percent. I believe that's on all 4 abilities. So that alone makes me not want to whale for her, because her devotion isn't something, you know, superb as far as like crit damage, crit rate, dual attack, things like that that are speed. So things like that that really benefits you having a lot of devotion. So probably will not whale for her. But let's go into her kit. So attacks the enemy with a 45% chance, maximum 70% chance. So obviously she's going to have effect enhancement in her skill 1 skill ups. Chance to inflict 2 bleed effects for 2 turns. A critical hit will reduce the caster's skill cooldowns by 1 turn. Okay, so then she has an ability that will reduce her skill cooldowns, because you guys see here, it's just straight up 7 turns on her skill 3. Good to note that will actually, you can actually have that work as well on her skill 4. So I guess it depends how many triggers she could potentially get. We'll have to see how that, you know, translates her skill 1 to get cooldowns on her skill 2 and skill 3. And then we have, after awakening, attacks the enemy with expert swordsmanship with a 55% chance, maximum 80% chance to chance each of inflicting 3 bleed effects for 2 turns. A critical hit will grant an extra turn. So very, very cool there. She's definitely a PvE hero. Unfortunately, not a PvP hero for a lot of us wanting some more PvP heroes that aren't Moonlight heroes. But, you know, still very, very good ability here. Chance to grant extra turns if critical hits are made. So you probably definitely want to build her probably on crit and something else. Maybe crit speed, or maybe crit attack, or crit and destruction, crit hate, crit rate, and crit damage could potentially be another good build as well. I don't think I would want to build her on hit and crit. I think crit for her S2 is going to be more important. She has a pretty high percentage if you do skill up her bleeds on her S2. And then we have delivers a deadly blow, detonating any bleed effects inflicted on the enemy at the end of the turn. A critical hit increases the combat readiness of all allies by 15%. So you could use her as a pseudo CR pusher, but I probably wouldn't, to be honest, because her cooldowns probably really is just a lot. So to rely on that CR push, you would have to really be able to proc her S1 a lot. Granted, her S1 will trigger from dual attacks and things like that, so you could get cooldown, cooldown reductions like you do with Luna. So it still could be good. Now, I just don't see her being used in PvP. I mean, you could if you really want to, but that would mean you'd have to use her S3 first. You'd have to build her insanely fast, and she seems more like a build-up hero to her S3 after you've done her S2, where you can build up a good report of bleed effects, and then you can detonate them, and then get combat readiness, and then go into more S2s and S1s to build up her S3 again. So I feel like you definitely would want to at least use your S2 before her S3. So, but, you know, I'm just going to say in layman's, I'm not really pleased with her because it's a very rehashed kit. It's like an upgraded version of Surin. So I'll go into more detail when I do a separate video on her, break her down more, but that's overall my opinion of her, overall from what we've seen so far. For some reason they jump in the Balance Sazan banner here first, but yeah, so we have the Balance Sazan Mystic banner, which is going to be here. They'll be added to the Moonlight pulls. They're going to be in the Mystic summons. We've already talked in depth about them, so I don't need to go into detail on them, obviously. And then these are the artifacts. So the artifact Junkyard Dog is going to be from the event, from the side story, and then I guess the side story is incorporating something of PvP. We'll read that in a little bit. But here it's a 25% chance to inflict burn for 2 turns, 50% chance when you max level 30 it, and then those are the final stats you'll get from it at 273 attack and 416 health. And then we have Torn Sleeve, which will be a 5-star summonable artifact on only Baiken's banner, so you will only be able to pull this artifact from Baiken's banner. However, all the other artifacts will be there. It's just this will have a higher drop rate up. So it is going to be 100% chance to inflict bleed for 2 turns on a single attack. 50% chance at base, so obviously able to get more bleeds there. It's our whole gimmick. So it's definitely going to be more of a PvE artifact. But granted, you could use this on Surin. So if you, for some reason, don't end up pulling Baiken and you pulled Surin, then you could use, obviously, that on her, or you could use it on Haste. You know, other units that do bleed effects as well could be potentially useful. So that's not a bad artifact. Getting 2 bleed effects at 100%. Granted, you have to pull 6 copies of it, but still pretty good. And then here we go. So this goes into all the details about the guaranteed summon banner. So you guys are new to the game. You've never seen these before. If you guys weren't here recently for Luna. After 120 summons, the next summon you guys get will guarantee the 5-star hero. This is the only 5-star hero you will be able to pull in this banner. And then it says that the hero has not been summoned listed, blah, 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 100%. Summoning the hero in the banner will result in a guaranteed summon counter being reset back to the original number. So that basically means if you pull her at any point before 121, then it's going to get reset back to normal. And then during Baiken's summon event, using her banner to summon, the drop rate increase to 1%. Other 5-star heroes can be summoned. The hero Baiken artifact currency will also be limited and will not be added to the Covenant summon after it ends. The hero and artifact may be sold in the same or similar form in the future. Okay, I don't really know what that means. That's really confusing, but whatever. Okay. So now Another World. Okay. So visitors from Another World. So this is the side story we're going into. You have to reach account 9, so basically everyone pretty much will be able to use this side story. And you guys see here, this is the main rewards you guys get. And it's going to work a little differently from previous side stories. So play through the side story and collect all the currencies to exchange as we normally have. And then if we go through here, you guys see week 1 is going to be Souls. Week 2 is going to be Baiken's. Week 3, Dizzy. And then week 4 is the final side story. So obviously we're going to have new rewards each week for this. And so you guys are going to have reputation rewards, which you guys can clear here. In order to proceed to stage 8, players will need to complete the preceding quest. Lock quest falls into a hidden achievement. So the hints will let you guys basically able to progress further in the side story. Here are some heroes you guys can use that'll have enhanced strength, all that kind of good stuff. So Krau, Asariel, Luna, Ludwig, Falconer, Cleary, and Cartuja will all have enhanced stats for this. And you guys see here, just like the Christmas event, if you guys have these artifacts equipped, you're going to get more event currency. So obviously Junkyard Dog will be free. At a certain point, you guys will be able to obtain that. And then Torn Sleeve will be summonable in the banner. So, and they are going to be giving you the first event currency here. We don't know yet. When we get week 2, I would assume it would be Token of the Chosen. If Torn Sleeve or Junkyard Dog will give us more event currency. We'll have to see when that comes out, how that will play out. But this is the event currency. We are only going to be able to exchange for the first part, so you will be able to get Soul Badguy as an exchange here, as well as 1 copy of his artifact. And then you guys see Black Curse Powder, Urkon Carapace, Sharp Spearhead, Molgora Seed, and then all the normal stuff that we normally get. Artifact Charms are going to be the first part. As well. Generally, we get artifact charms as well for like the equipment stuff. And then you guys will see here, they've already shown us what we're getting for the next part. For the ribbon hairbrush, which I believe should be the... Okay, so Token of the Chosen, that is going to be for use for the tournaments. Okay, so Token of the Chosen is for the tournaments. And then ribbon hairbrush is going to be for week 2. That's where you guys can get 1 more copy of Soul of Junkyard Dog. And then where you guys see here, that's the next set of catalysts, which is going to be Blazing Rage, Horn of Desire, Shining Enhancement, and then the Mologores and all the normal stuff there. And this looks like this is going to be the stuff for... So I would assume all the catalysts here is going to be used for Baiken, and it's pretty much paint on the wall here showing us that we are going to be getting... Dizzy is going to be water, because this next event here, more than likely when her banner comes out, is going to be used for Dizzy, since obviously there was no water character that we got released this week. And I would assume Horn of Desire, Blazing Rage, Shine Enhancement. That's either going to be used for Soul, potentially, or that could be used for Dizzy. I'll have to check off the top of my head. I can't remember. Soul is, I believe, where was he? He was a Sagittarius, wasn't he? She's a Scorpio. He's a Sagittarius, so I'll have to check what catalyst he takes, but it could be potentially that week 2 is for Soul's catalyst, and then week 3 could be for Dizzy's catalyst. We'll have to see, though, how that pans out. And then complete reputation rewards to get all this stuff. So here we got Leafs, we got rare catalyst chests, the weapon charms, we have gold, greater necklace charms, the artifact junkyard dog, more gold, catalyst, weapon charms, all that stuff. So, and then here's where it shows the tournament. So, alright, so a special tournament will be exclusively during the 2nd and 4th week of the side story. Visitor from the world can obtain an event currency token for the chosen and use it to participate in the tournament. If you are victorious in the tournament, you will obtain victory rewards and also participate in the finals. Beat other heirs and obtain variety of rewards. So, I would assume... I don't think that's what the reputation rewards are, so I would assume we can't do the tournament till next week, it shows here, because it says a tournament will be available exclusively during the 2nd and 4th week of the side story. So the 1st and 3rd weeks, you cannot do the tournament. So I would assume that's where other rewards are going to be announced, will be the next couple weeks. So all the stuff here, we should be able to get. Now, I'm not sure how far down the reputation reward, since this is a longer event, how far down we can collect from all of these rewards. We'll have to see when the event goes live how far down we can go through all these rewards. Because you guys see here, there's 2 copies of Junkyard Dog you can get and a copy of Soul Bad Guy. So there's a possibility that, like, this starts, that maybe we can only get up to, like, here. Maybe just the Leafs and the Charms. Or maybe up to the... Actually, no, it would make sense we can go up to this Junkyard Dog. So maybe these feathers need a trim. Would be probably where we can stop. So probably 1 copy of Junkyard Dog, because it actually shows Ribbon Hairbrush. Possibly talking about feathers there. It'd be my guess would be that we can only go up to the copy of Junkyard Dog for the first reputation rewards, and then the other reputation rewards will follow after. But we'll have to see on that. And then we have some other fixes, just of clarification of other improvements and fixes and all that stuff, which I'm really not going to go too in detail in because this video is already pretty long. And then it shows you here, it'll tell you what the crust reward and what the exchange rewards are. Obviously, the higher end rewards of the character, of the artifacts, and of the epic catalyst and the catalyst chest. And obviously, we'll have other crust rewards, I would assume, in this week as well, but we'll have to see on that. But anyway, guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below so far of this event, of what we have for the collab. A little on the disappointed side as far as for the character design, especially more for Baiken, but not really. Soul's fine. I think he's you know, a good character. And then here are some other rewards you guys can kind of check out here. We have the Mulligora pack. We have a special check-in reward, which I'm going to go over all this stuff in a separate reward video. So definitely will be more videos to come on the channel. But I just wanted to get you guys this out first, so I'll be dropping, you know, a bunch of videos over the next day or two for epicseven. Obviously, it's to be expected with the collab. And I will be streaming my summons at some point later tonight. So if you guys are on YouTube or Twitch, make sure you guys check that out. And until then, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Comment down below what you guys think of the event so far. And I'll see you guys in the next epicseven collab with Guilty Gear video. Peace out, guys.